Team got back to defense yesterday. I mean, how do they sustain that and keep it going? Obviously, a better team tomorrow.
We're solid. Again, I don't care what team it is. People talk about bad team and all. I think defensive fundamentals travel. No matter who it is, you do the right things defensively. It's gonna carry wherever. What we have to do now is sustain it tomorrow night and Saturday night, no matter who we play, and keep the same habits. And we had slippage again. Some of it. We got to give Chicago and Cleveland credit, but we lost our habits, our defensive habits.
Talk about habits. Obviously, every guy doesn't have great defensive habits, but you got to break down bad habits and install good habits. How do you get that process going in the season?
You got to do it game by game, frame by frame, on the video, Sherm. This is the most difficult thing to do now because you have limited live practice time. Now, we go through a lot of stuff, we get some practice in, but not where it's like 100 miles an hour with the intensity that you got to have. So you have to do it in the game. Guys have to learn from film work and game situations, and that's very difficult to do. But, the good teams do it, and that's what we're working on doing. Guys have transferred it from film, from the limited practice time we've had. So that's what we're in the process of doing now.
Dwane, would you generally say film work is more effective for offense than it is for defense because of what you just stated with the live ball stuff?
It is, but again, there's nothing like film to show you where your position is. More so defensively, it shows you if you're in the right position in a certain scheme, who's the tag person, who's the low man, who's the elbow guy, who's the nail person, and the films don't lie. Everybody has a job to do in every defensive scheme, and that's what films show you. Now, they can't show you the speed of the cut, the speed of the DHO, the physicality of the screen, the physicality of the cut, but it can show you if you're in the right. And normally, if you're in the right position, Jonesy, your defense is going to be pretty good.
You see AB working out behind us. Is this the first time his back's allowed him to go in a bit?
It's the first time his back has allowed him to go. We're seeing how he goes today. We need all hands on deck when you're man down, especially at that power 3 position.
Dwane, outside of the tweet that he sent out earlier this year, James was saying last night that he thinks he gets it more this year. He said, I've grown up, I've matured, I might have been different as a younger kid, I've got a better relationship with Coach this time around. Have you seen a difference in him and just the maturity?
Well, the maturity factor is huge with all of our players, and JJ he's understanding, and I appreciate his understanding of the role he's been. Here's a guy who goes from starting to not playing because you can only play so many guys. I could jerk him in, give him a couple minutes, but then you're going to screw around with T. Ross and DC at the time. So he's been, we had a talk, we talked about what his role was going to be once DC came back. He handled it like a pro and kept himself as ready as he possibly could to go into as a starting position. So I appreciate that. The coaching staff and the organization appreciate his approach. And a lot of that is maturity, being a professional, being a pro, whether you're here or some other team, that's part of the deal. And he's handled it well. He's done a good job of handling it and staying ready, staying a pro. And he's getting back in, getting some of the rust off also. So, that's kind of where his deal is now. But he's done a good job for the role he's been in.
We often talk about his defense. How tough can he be on offense, though, with his size and his ability to get to the rim?
Well, all of our guys, we need work defensively. He understands the one-on-one defense. He's solid. Where James has got to continue to improve is schematically understanding where he's supposed to go, who's the next guy, who's the rotate guy, how far you can help in a scheme. Those are the things where, we all need to continue to get better. But his offense, he's strong, he's forceful. He's bigger than you think he is as far as going to the rim. So he is a weapon offensively when used correctly. Our number one thing as a team, guys, is we had 18 turnovers in our last game against this team, 22 turnovers in the first game against this team. So all of our guys offensively have to be conscious of handling the basketball, making the plays, and not turning. And those, one was a 2-point game, and the other one was a 3-point game, and you had that many turnovers. So that's something we've got to clean up and clear up, especially against Washington.
Dwane, how much of that is the rate, or the speed, the pace at which Washington plays? I mean, it's tough.
They rev you up. Last night's game against Cleveland looked like a OABA game. And so your motor gets going a little bit faster, you get sped up offensively, and you can't allow the defense to do that. You got to take your time, make the easy play, make the easiest play you can possibly make, the easiest pass, and not let the game speed you up. And that's where, you know, if you haven't played in a while and you're just getting back in things, that's where you really got to be conscious of handling the basketball and making decisions.
Dwane, Jonas had one of those games. He looked more like he had found his rhythm last night. Obviously, Jonas is a guy that you can utilize in the front court, but when he's playing like that, how much of a balanced attack can you have and really relieve some of the pressure off your guards?
Sherman is huge, and again, he's getting back in shape, you know, getting it through the games because of the lack of practice time, but you can see he's got a little quicker bounce in his step, running the floor. He did as good a job as you could possibly do against Lopez last night. He's got his hands full tomorrow night in Gortat. So, but he's getting in condition. He's a definite weapon. He's an excellent passer out of the post. He can quarterback. And most of all, JV is one of the best free throw shooters in those situations. So he's coming back. He's not all the way back yet. But he's getting there, and we're excited about his level of play right now.
Sometimes when guys are out of the lineup, you know, they get to see some things, and the fact that he was able to see Bismack do what he did defensively and rebounding, can you see him kind of focusing on that side of the ball a bit more?
No question. You know, and that's one thing we had him to do is watch Bismack not only in the games but in the film sessions. He was in all the film sessions. He saw, we pointed out things with Bismack. He picked it up, and that's something that Biz brings to the table, where Jonas can watch him. He can listen to what Bismack is saying, how he communicates, how he talks, how he directs traffic. All those things are things that Jonas is learning from Biz, you know, from the films, on the team, in practice, or wherever it is.
Coach, can you describe the impact of Luis Scola on this team, and what kind of a teammate is he?
He's a great teammate. He's been through it. He's one of the guys, like at halftime last night, was telling the team, hey, they're going to come out and throw their best punch. He's been through the wars. He's seen everything. He's a winner. You know, so he knows where he is in his career. He's not the youthful Luis he used to be. He understands that. He's utilizing that. He's outsmarting people. So, no, we're excited about what he brings to our table. And, again, like we were saying, guys can learn from Bismack. Guys can learn from Luis with their approach, how he takes care of his body, how he's the first one in the gym, the last one to leave, lifting weights, he eats properly. All those things young players can watch those two guys and learn from them in so many ways, just more so than just watching the ball go through the hole.